So there's this side to tap dance where the dancer is channeling something or summoning the lessons of all of their experience, what they hear, what they know, or perhaps channeling a spirit and sharing it with the audience. We call it, okay, listen, on a good day, improvisation. But then you think about what people know about tap dance, what they love about tap dance, what you love about tap dance. Inspired by choreography. Deliberate, assured, specific, efficient, powerful. Choreography. There's this clip on YouTube where Sam Weber is dancing to this Johann Sebastian Bach piece with the jazz tap ensemble, and it's amazing. It's so clear, precise, dynamic, powerful. Blows me away every time. It's choreography. Today, we're going to talk about the making of this choreography and get a little bit of Sam Weber's insight on teaching and improvisation.
Well, that was right after I joined Jazz Tap Ensemble, and I was just coming from a ballet company. Coming from a repertory company, you usually when you join a new ballet company, they tell you you're going to be dancing certain things, and if those things are not brand new, you can look at a video, and you can learn the choreography off the video. And since I was replacing Fred Strickler, he was the male dancer in the company before me, I just thought maybe I was going to be doing the same things he'd done. But it turned out, no, you choreograph your own solos in Jazz Tap Ensemble. That was the thing. I had always wanted to do something to Bach, and Fred had done two classical things. He had done something to a Gottschalk piece that I really liked, and he did some Samuel Barber. So I thought, okay, so if it wasn't all jazz, because Fred did that, he set a precedent. So if he could do that, then I could ask about doing my Bach piece. Then Jeff Colella, who was the pianist, and he had a classical background, and he said that the Italian concerto, the third movement of the Italian concerto, would be something that I might like. Okay. So I started listening to it. I was at the Colorado Festival when I started listening to it. I remember having my little Walkman cassette player. That's how long ago that was. Idlewild. We were in residence at Idlewild, which is an arts camp near Palm Springs in California. And I got in there and I started working on it, and my most recent influences had been Steve Condos, because I had met Steve Condos in Colorado and was doing all the rudiments. I was really into the rudiments, which are perfect for dancing to a Bach piece, like with a very 16th note feel, like the Italian concerto. And I had also seen Leon Collins' Bach piece. So there was a little swing feel in that Bach piece, right? So I thought I've got to get a little of that in there, right? Plus all the Paul Draper steps that I wanted to include, all that kind of, because his steps were very light and airy and off the floor, lots of wings and pullbacks and things like that. I had these certain things that I wanted to do, and then just found the places in the phrasing where I could. I sometimes start off in choreography like a house on fire, and then I slow down as I get toward the middle, I may have the end in view, but like how I'm going to get that last,
Sure.
Yeah. And so that maybe took the longest. Tap dancers are very competitive and they want to be different from every dancer wants to be different somehow. And whereas the aesthetic for movement used to be just whatever, now it seems like there are people who are actually getting interested in some kind of style. I don't think I've choreographed an entire thing from start to finish for myself in quite a while. with jazz tap, my improvised solos were always to some extent choreographed. I mean, you know, what our usual way of going about it would be to choreograph the head the same way the musicians are always playing the same thing in the head, you know, and then improvise during the blowing. Gregory Hines coined the term improvography. That's the perfect word to describe, I think, what happens. What I see nowadays is a lot of people just start out improvising from the start. And sometimes I don't even feel like they're phrasing with the head. You know, they're just, you know, it's like, you know, as if the drummer were to start doing a solo right then. Having a little structure in the beginning kind of helps the improvisation, because then you have some thematic material to use in your improvised part, so that it feels like it's all part of the same piece. It's very hard to teach tonality in a class. You can teach rhythm, you can teach technique. I'm very much aware of it in my own dancing, but I rarely talk about it when I'm teaching. I just give the technique, and I say, okay, if I'm teaching a combination, I'll say, well, there should be an accent here, and this should sound like this, but I can't really do much more than that, you know? How do you get somebody to be aware of that? I think it just has to develop on their own. I find that I can teach a lot of things in less time and get it across more clearly than I used to be able to do. And of course, the level is developing and changing all the time of the students, right? Because I remember when really the highest level was what we would now call intermediate, really, you know. I often draw parallels between the ballet world and the tap world, because I see, you know, because I've been in both. And in the ballet world, it seems to go through these periods where technique is really on the rise, and then you hear people complaining that there's no emotion, it's not even musical, it's just, you know, it's just like powerful. And then, but they come out of that, and because they eventually have to, but then they go through another period where the technical ability starts to, they discover something and start to be able to do things that they couldn't do before. And I think tap is kind of in a period like that.